Welcome back to Gibbo MMA. We are previewing UFC Vancouver RDR versus Brandon Allen. And this episode, this preview, we usually are either outdoors or I'm sitting down reviewing this, but I'm up for this. I'm standing up for this card. I am very keen for this main event. Reiner de Ridder, this was initially scheduled against Fluffy Hernandez, pretty much a title eliminator. There is Imavov, who just won in Paris only a month ago. And this matchup right here that it was supposed to be with Fluffy, he had to pull out due to injury, and Brandon Allen steps in like the stud he is and gets this matchup on about a month's notice against Reiner de Ridder. And this is a fun matchup. In Vancouver, we've got some fun fights. My boy Hunsong Park is looking to bounce back on the prelims after that defeat to Tatsu Taira only just in August. So if you're new here, hit subscribe. We preview and review cards in a kind of a different way. I don't go through every single fight. I just go and talk about the ones I'm keen on. And again, it's kind of a top-heavy card, but it is pretty underrated that there are some cool fights scattered about. But yeah, Vancouver, last time we were here was in 2023. If you remember, Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana, UFC 289, and she won in dominant fashion, put down the gloves, and retired. So that was the last time we saw Amanda Nunes, and which was when we were last in Vancouver. So we're back there again, and I'll just go through the card. We got co-main Kevin Holland, Mike Malott, Marlon Vera, Amin Zahabi. Fuck him, because fucking he retired Jose. Nothing personal, to be honest. And then we got Magnon Fariut and Jasmine Vikius. I always butcher my pronunciations. That's the main card, but on the prelims, we got some fun ones. Kyle Nelson, Matt Frivola, Charles Jourdain, Davey Grant. But the one I'm looking forward to on this prelim is the South Korean Hunsong Park against Bruno Silva. I had huge hopes. I'm still on the hype train of Hunsong Park. He's in one of my sort of predictions to be the first UFC champ from South Korea. So he's a flyweight. He got outclassed because he stepped in on short notice against Tatsu Taira, got ragdolled. But he's bouncing back. He's looking to bounce back. And he only fought a couple months ago. So I'm really keen to see how he performs. He's 10-1. And his only loss was just a couple months ago to Tatsu Taira, who is now fighting Brandon Moreno. And we'll get into some of the UFC announcements that occurred just the other day at the end. But let's start off with this main event. Reiner de Ridder coming off that split decision win against Robert Whittaker. Let me know how you scored it. I'm trying to remember. I think, I wasn't disappointed with the decision. Obviously, Aussie biasy, but even with my Aussie bias, I believe RDR did win the fight. Obviously, was going for Bobby Knuckles, but great fight. Go and watch it. And if you don't know who RDR is, Reiner de Ridder, he's only just come in the UFC last year. This will be his fifth fight in the UFC. He's 4-0. He debuted in November of last year, so only 11 months ago he debuted against Gerald Meerschaert, gets the win, and he hasn't lost since. 4-0 in the UFC. He's got 2 submissions, a knockout and decision, and his knockout over Bo Nickel really opened up my eyes to one of the most lethal weapons in MMA right now, but it doesn't get utilized because it takes a certain type of person to land this kind of shot. And that is a knee up the middle. Not a flying knee, just, I think of it, it's like a freight train coming up the middle. It's not the quickest strike, but you can't once it's coming for you, he fully commits RDR with that knee up the middle, and it's like a freight train coming for you. You saw Robert Whittaker really, he got caught a couple times with it, and he was very much constantly trying to avoid it, even though it's so telegraphed. RDR's knee up the middle is a fucking freight train. And you saw it when in Bo Nickel when he finished him with that knee and then eventually ground and pound. But yeah, this is RDR. Super exciting guy to watch. But he's a jiu-jitsu specialist. He's a judokan, has really good judo, and that's what he uses to get fights to the mat. Either he would just get taken down, like he wants to get taken down, or he's really good at using the judo, the hip tosses, the trips to get his opponents to the ground. Because if we look at his record, he's got 14 wins by submission. He's a former two-weight champion at one championship, another promotion. So he's been pretty slept on, but he's finally getting a bit of notoriety. And he's a big boy, 6'4", and he's got a 78-inch reach. So 6'4" is 193 centimeters, and his total wingspan is 198. So he could definitely fight at light heavyweight. He is a massive. Brandon Allen, he's pretty big too. Not big, like he's pretty tall and long as well in the middleweight, 6'2", a couple of inches less in the reach, but he's not a shorter guy. Like Robert Whittaker's 6'1", and RDR just really towers over him. So RDR's coming up against another pretty tall, long guy, and the bookmakers, I believe, have this right as far as the odds. RDR's $1.50. Arnold Allen. Oh, not Arnold Allen. Brandon Allen. Shout out to Arnold Allen. Can't wait to see you back in the octagon. Future featherweight champ. $2.65 for Brandon Allen. So yeah, I think this is bang on the money. And because RDR has that jiu-jitsu, and Brandon Allen also has a ground game of his own. He's got good submission threats, but just his fights with Evolve and Fluffy where he lost, and he wasn't able to submit him down on the ground. And I just think a guy with RDR, I don't think he's going to be able to submit RDR, because he's been on a bit of a decision tear, Brandon Allen, and we'll get to him shortly. But as I put my knee up on the desk, my foot, sorry. RDR, like, he's got 13 wins via submission. What did I say? 14. Yes. Anyways, yeah, 4-0 in the UFC, submission specialist. Does get cracked though, RDR. He does get cracked. You saw in the Whittaker fight, he got starched. Absolutely starched against Whittaker. Whittaker jumped on him. He, weathered the storm. And he had cardio questions because when he has been finished, he's been finished twice in his career via TKO. Never been finished by a submission. So that's why I don't see Allen being able to submit him. And the times he's been finished TKO'd was due to cardio issues. Just gassing out, and then eventually fatigue makes the coward of us all. Eventually got TKO'd. But he was fighting at one championship. Their weights, like when they say middleweight and light heavyweight, it's actually not the same weight as in pounds as like the UFC. So middleweight 185, light heavyweight 205. So if I just go like, yeah, he was saying it on the Pound for Pound podcast, Henry Cejudo, Kamaru Usman, that the weight's actually different. So he fought at heavyweight, about at heavyweight. Yeah, it's a bit confusing the way he was telling it. Pretty much like light heavyweight's middleweight at one championship, essentially. I don't think Tapology is reflecting this too well. Um, so so yeah, he does cut down quite a bit to the middleweight division here. But yeah, he's going to definitely try and get this fight to the ground, wrap his legs around Brandon Allen. And yeah, I see his path to victory being, when I make these decisions, it's always based on, I like to choose a finish. I don't like to choose decisions. And I'm going rogue a little bit. I'm really going to be cheering for the knee up the middle. I'm going for a TKO finish over Brandon Allen. It's a bit out of, it's not a sure thing, but that knee up the middle, man, Brandon Allen doesn't get out of the way. The thing is a fucking freight train, and it'll finish anybody in that division. And that, like, he's a big, solid, big Dutch guy. Those Dutch guys are fucking tall and big and dense. And yeah, if that knee fucking hit me, I'd be fucking dead. So, um, yeah, I'm going RDR with the knee up the middle, TKO, similar to what he did to Bo Nickel. But Brandon Allen cannot be underestimated. He's pretty underrated. He's coming off that decision win fight of the night over Marvin Vettori and really got to showcase a lot of his striking in that fight. Vettori, never been knocked out, super durable guy, very hard guy to finish. But Brandon Allen, he hasn't knocked someone out. I wrote it down here. Yeah, he only has one TKO win in the UFC, and that was back in 2020. So he hasn't TKO'd anyone in 5 years, and it's been a couple years since he's finished someone. So he's just been on, these decisions against tough guys, like coming off against, winning against Marvin Vettori. But, I was at this fight in Paris, him versus Imavov. Imavov just took him down and just held him there. And then Anthony Hernandez essentially did the same while being sick as a dog, Hernandez. So yeah, like he has submission wins. So like his last finish was over Paul Craig via submission, which is, that's a big finish over Paul Craig, who is a jiu-jitsu specialist himself. But RDR's never been submitted in his career. So that's where I see submission, for him to win via submission, is definitely out. Via knockout, also definitely out. I don't think even though RDR can be caught because he's a bit slower, not even Robert Whittaker, as you know, with his striking, did starch him, but didn't knock him out. So doing a bit of MMA math a little bit, but I don't think Brandon Allen can knock out RDR, and his only way to win is just win those first 3 rounds, put on a pace. Bank those rounds, touch them up, fight on from the outside and win via decision, win on the judges' scorecards. But I don't see that happening. RDR, man, he just gets his tentacles onto you and he eventually gets a hold of you, or just, it eventually will end up on the mat somehow. But yeah, I only see Allen winning via decision, but he could just fucking come out and just fucking starch RDR for all we know, and just fully go, yo, I'm next for the title. Hamzat Chimaev, fucking, it's my turn. And that could very much happen, but I think Imavov will get the title shot next, since Imavov has beaten Allen. Yeah, there's not too much else. Like, Allen does have 14 wins via submission, and yeah, and he's had 7 submission wins in the UFC in his earlier career. Like, he submitted Kevin Holland in his debut. And that's why this is such a fun matchup. 2 guys who have great jiu-jitsu, and Allen definitely edges the striking, but RDR, I think, has more power, being the bigger dude. And if he gets that knee on you, fucking hell, you're going to be folding like a deck chair. So I got RDR via knee up the middle, TKO. I reckon probably round three TKO, or this could very much go to a decision or submission. So RDR has those three paths to victories: submission, TKO, and decision. Whereas Allen, I only see him winning by the one path to victory, method of victory, which is decision. Now, co-main event, I'll skim through the rest of these. Kevin Holland, Mike Malott, the Canadian. He's coming off that win against Charles Radke. If you don't know, he's one that says a bit of shit, and he finished him at the on the Bilal JDM card. So he's coming off a good win. Kevin Holland coming off that roller coaster of a fight with D-Rod and ended up losing. But this will be my fight. This is for bonuses. This is my fight of the night. Kevin Holland, Mike Malott. It's going to be a bit of a fucking scrambles everywhere. People getting starched, and it's going to be fun. But I'm going to have to go with my boy Kevin Holland. Pretty even fight. But I think Kevin Holland, like before that loss, he was on a pretty good tear this year, Kevin. And I'm pretty sure this is his 5th fight of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is Kevin's 5th fight of the year. He's He lost to RDR, won against Gunner, then Vicente, then lost to D-Rod. So he was on a bit of a roll, but I think he gets this win. And next we have a bit of a weird bantamweight matchup: Marlon Vera versus Ayman Zahabi. Zahabi obviously fought Jose Aldo, who just finally got a proper retirement at UFC Rio. Got to lay the gloves in at Rio, as he's known, the King of Rio. Marlon Vera, people had this guy beating Sean O'Malley, and we saw what happened in that fight. Now he's fighting down a little bit to face Zahabi. I think Vera gets it done. And Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine, the Canadian. Here, mixed reports on this one. People were backing Jasmine. She's a 3-1 underdog. Manon, obviously coming off that loss for the flyweight belt against Shevchenko, and got outclassed because she is a pretty solid and big flyweight. She's 12-2, had her first loss in the UFC. She was on an 11 fight win streak or something. So she's looking to bounce back. I think, she is the favorite, paying about $1.40. I think she gets it done, gets a good bounce back win here. Stylistically, she's just pretty well-rounded. Jasmine, coming off that good submission win, she'll be looking to probably get this fight to the ground and get another submission. But I think Manon will just be too strong in this fight. And on the prelims, nothing too crazy. What I'm looking like, I can't believe Drew Dober's on this card. Fuck, what's he doing all the way down at the bottom? Drew Dober, as always, the iron chin, the massive chin. I just saw him on a little podcast clip, his first marriage. So he fought this guy, he lost to him, and then they went to like an after party and ended up marrying his opponent's sister. Yeah, small world. But Drew Dober's on the prelims. I'll be picking him for sure. But Hunsong Park versus Bruno Silva. I think I got this guy being the first South Korean champ. Flyweight is the division to really catapult to get to a title. As we've seen with some fight announcements, Pantoja, Joshua Van was like ranked number 12 or something, or 9. So Hunsong Park, coming off that loss to Tatsu Taira, just kind of got ragdolled, wasn't prepared. The best level of competition that he faced, and this is a good step back. This is where he should have been fighting, but hey, opportunity arrives as he took it. Didn't go his way, but he's being rewarded with Bruno Silva, number 14th ranked in Vancouver, short and didn't have to stay out for long. So UFC will look after you and give you a decent matchup if you do them favors like that. So Hunsong Park, definitely got him winning. But yeah, other than that, that's quick little brief preview of UFC Vancouver. Let me know who you got winning in the main event. Are you going to chuck a bit of money or something on RDR TKO? I think I might have to have a little nibble, and I'll be doing the live reaction for this. So be sure to tune in when I post it up, the reaction. Go tune into the other reactions I've done. I even did a no reaction challenge where I tried to watch a Dana White Contender Series fight without reacting. That was hell. That sucked. I mean, I think I reacted the whole time, but I was trying to hold it in. And yeah, it's not good for you to hold that stuff in because, it was tough I was struggling to breathe. But go check out the other reactions I've done. But let's quickly go over these UFC 23 fight announcements. Merab Dvalishvili vs. Piotr Yan headlining. Merab going to be the first ever to defend his belt 4 times in a year. And this guy is the machine, of course. So versing Piotr Yan. Piotr Yan's probably one of the most unluckiest MMA fighters I've seen. Illegally hit a knee Aljamain Sterling, so gets DQ'd. Then he loses by a split decision, which was pretty close in my opinion. I thought he won it when it first happened. And then he gets Sean O'Malley, loses that. I think that by a split decision against Sean O'Malley. I thought Piotr Yan won it, and then he's had such a weird run, Piotr Yan. So he's, and then he was out a bit with injury, but he's gone on to beat Song Yadong, Figueiredo, Marcus McGee, and he's looking to get back his title. That was his. I felt like Piotr Yan was going to go on this crazy run. And then, that, because he was tearing up Aljamain Sterling, and then he threw that fucking knee, and it changed the whole course of the bantamweight division. So, and, Merab, at this stage, I'm picking Merab to win. As we get closer to it, and when we do the preview, man, Piotr Yan's been slept on a lot. Y'all must have forgot. And then we got Pantoja versus Joshua Van. So Joshua Van is ranked number 1 now. But when he fought, what's his name? Brandon Royval. Royval was ranked number 1, 2, or 3. And Joshua Van was ranked like 12. So he really catapulted all the way to a title shot in one of the best fights of the year. So I'll be going with Pantoja, man. This guy just gets guys to the ground like he did to Kai Kara France and just fucking ragdolls people. So let me know your early predictions, but I got Pantoja here. Joshua Van, one of my favorite fighters, but this is the fight he needs to catapult his skill level. And then after he loses, I mean, I don't want to be so sure of it, but if he loses this to Pantoja, he's only 23 and he's got so long. So this could be a really good matchup for him to just develop, and it's against the champion. So rather it be some fucking random in the top 10, he gets to, get on the world stage and get this opportunity, better purse, I assume, and develop his game. He's still developing, and he might just pull it off and fucking knock out Pantoja. And then Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Guskov, this is, top prospect, ranked number 11 now in the light heavyweight division. That's going to be a fun fight. And Brandon Moreno, Tatsu Tara. And then the most surprising booking of 2025, you could say, Henry Cejudo, Triple C, former 2-division simultaneous champ, Olympic gold medalist, Beijing Olympic gold medalist in wrestling, takes on Peyton Talbot. I was like stunned. I was like, what? Unranked Peyton Talbot. Henry Cejudo now ranked 10, coming off that controversial loss to Song Yadong at UFC Seattle earlier this year with the eye pokes. Just a clusterfuck of refereeing, but also on Song Yadong just fucking poking him. And Henry Cejudo, you know, hindsight's 2020. He knows it, like, just should have, like, could have gotten a no contest if he didn't continue, but he tried to continue and then ended up losing by a technical decision or something. It was just clusterfuck. So will this be Henry Cejudo's last fight? Will he, because he clearly knows the path to victory here, get Peyton Talbot down and just lay on him for 3 rounds and then retire? Like, is that his plan? Or, because he's had a tough run. He had came back versus Aljo, lost split decision, and then had the versus Marab. And, like, he's had a tough couple of bouts since coming back from retirement. So this is probably just the win. He just wants to get a win here, and he would have been licking his lips when UFC's fucking sent him this contract. And Henry Cejudo, very much likely, could just get fucking starched with Talbot striking, but I think he'll take him down and get a clear victory. Those are early predictions, but let me know your thoughts on those fight announcements. And man, we continue this run, this UFC schedule, with Aspinall and Cyril Gane next week. Man, I cannot wait for this fight. Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall in Abu Dhabi. Yas Island. So United, the UAE, sorry. So very much looking forward to that, but yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm kind of keeping it a bit more brief now, just for the time being. We will be looking to get back out for some sunrise sunset episodes, but we're just keeping it brief at the moment. But I appreciate the support. Be sure to subscribe, comment your predictions. I got RDR, and let me know what else you'd like to see. But we'll leave it at that. I'll see you guys in the review. Enjoy the fights. Catch you later.